Okay. Um, Another sketchbook tour, because that's all I really want to do. um, this is the back of the book. This um, this sketchbook is from before my previous sketchbook tour. Um, I'm thinking of doing them reverse chronologically. So I have a few more. Just a few. That I'll probably go through, make some other flip throughs for in the future. But yeah, so going back in time. Um, this one's kind of like this. Um, this was I started the final drawing for this, but I never actually finished it. I was trying to go for like a big grand cathedral type imagery for this made up cult in my mind. Um, this is a quote from a manager that I used to work at a retail grocery store, and he pulled me aside one day and was just like, "Hey man, you gotta stop wearing your heart on your sleeve. You gotta stop being so emotional, being so honest with the other employees. They're starting to also be emotional and be honest with how they feel, and it's not good for business." Wow. Yeah. So that stuck with me. Fuck that guy. Um, these are my friend coined the term floating pain stools, and that's all I think about when I think of this imagery now. For me, it was just kind of this feeling of being stuck, sort of tied down, not really knowing how to get out of that uh, isolation, but like looking around and seeing other people also being stuck. A lot of these are like this, huh? Um, Here, maybe I can. Yeah, check that out. Um, these are some of my uh, more angry thoughts on the suffering of those who can't really defend themselves. um, yeah, it's pretty abhorrent, you know, the things that happen to those who can't defend themselves. So yeah. This is I really wanted to do a painting for this, which is a representation of my highway exit. Um, just because I have a lot of like good and bad memories of driving and being driven and taking that exit a lot. Um, this was just kind of a nonsensical drawing, sort of based on my animal deity creatures, I guess. But his hands here were kind of fucked up, and I sort of saw like a face or a mask within those hands, and that became a thing a future sketchbook that I've already shown now. A mask called Uba Keep that hasn't been made yet, but hopefully in the future it will be. More of my sort of role reversal animal creatures. Just saying the things that, you know, already happen in the world. This is a sketch of my partner in the bathtub. That was a nice, quiet, intimate little moment there that I can reflect on. That was really nice and peaceful. This was a I don't know if anyone knows the artist 1000 on YouTube. He posts a lot of videos and he does a lot of like art challenge things, and this was one of his art challenge that I was going to take part in, but it was just really, it was a little too much. It was kind of overwhelming how many check boxes you needed to fill for this creature design. But it was fun to sketch some ideas that I had, so yeah. Didn't make anything of it, but I have sketches for it. Here's a sketch of my friend Kassam and I. Him handing me the mask he made me, which I believe I showed in my previous video, but I don't know, maybe I didn't. It's this one. See that little guy right there? This dude. Yeah, in the flesh. Okay. Just trying to like immortalize that that moment of him gifting that to me, you know? This is my partner and I. That's her mask that my friend Kassam also made, which I can show you as well. My drawing isn't 100% accurate to it, because I was going based on memory and I kind of just shorthanded it. But yeah, this one's glorious. It's so beautiful. This is a camping trip that my partner and I went on, and I documented it a little bit. There were some crows in a parking lot, and one of them was just on this little pole, just staring at us, and we walked right up to it, and it just didn't even mind. Didn't mind at all. And it was pouring rain. We were in ponchos, just taking a nice rain walk. Nobody was around. Just the crows. It was really peaceful. And then we set up this like tarp underneath a tree. Just let the rain like make that peaceful pitter-patter sound. It was really nice. Our tent flooded, but we made the most of that day. It was really nice. This was the first drawing that I made for representing my uncle who passed away. Yeah, it took me a long time to sort of come to terms with that reality that he was gone, and I sort of mulled over those emotions for years until it was like a breaking point, and I had to just accept it, and now I'm trying to sort of commemorate his memory through more drawings. I want to make more about him because he was really really impactful in my life. Honestly, this was some of my preliminary ideas for him. That's like a what I would say to him, if he was around. Just like tell him what I've been up to. This is a little sketch for my friends. This is Kassam again. That's my partner. Having a little bonfire. I made a finished drawing of that in my other sketchbook. Oh, this one's kind of cool. This was an idea that my other friend Thomas had for this like massive flying creature, and then he drew this down here with the two faces and this like double torso, which is like fucking nuts. This was a commission for a tattoo. That was fun. I didn't know what these flowers were called. I forget what they are now. Hydrangeas. Yeah, that was kind of hard to draw. I don't really draw a lot of floral stuff. This was the basic shape of it. I did way more details in the flowers and stuff for the final actual drawing for them. This was another commission for a scale with like a crucified fairy on it, which is pretty cool idea. I don't know if this was what I went with, but oh, this was an idea for like an actual I guess sculpture that I wanted to make, where this is just like a big suit like of skin, sort of like I guess a morph suit, like those really tight spandexy things, but it's like a cloaked suit that you can kind of zip on and off, and it has a mask in the face so you can like put it on, and it's like wearing different skin and stuff. This is my partner's mother drew this in my sketchbook because it was just open to this page one day, which is cool. I like having that in there. It's like a little memento memory thing. This, I don't know. This was I was just angry because there was a lot of roadkill that day, and I don't know. Sometimes it just pisses me off at how desensitized everyone is to death and corpses, and yeah. This is sort of a collage of memories for me and my friend Kassam when we first really started to get to know each other. This was these were a few of the memories. What is this one? I don't know what this one is. He drew the pen, this like burgundy red pen, and I drew the pencil. This pencil one here is when I first really spoke with him in college, and he came into. We didn't talk at all. I guess I'll tell the story. When we were in college, we were in the same pottery class, and we sort of hated each other from afar without actually saying anything to each other. And one, because I don't know, we were just like jealous of each other because we didn't know each other, but we thought each other were cool. Like I really respected his art, and I was super inspired by what he made in class and stuff. Speaking of, he made this like ceramic box that you had to lift up, sort of like a canoptic jar, but you had to lift up with your two fingers like a bowling ball, lift the lid off, and inside was a human heart. And yeah, I was very like, wow, that's fucking insane. I was super inspired by that. He didn't keep it, he destroyed it. But yeah, so the last day of class at college, I worked in the gallery as a installer slash gallery sitter. and I was about to leave, close the gate, and he came in, and we were just like, "Hey, man." He was like, "Hey, we never spoke in college, but or in class, but would you want to hang out sometime? You seem cool." And ever since then, fucking, I don't even know, like 8 years, 8 years of friendship from that one random moment. So that was cool. And then this is his old apartment. It's my friend Thomas and him playing video games on the couch. This is us sitting on the wall at school. 'Cause it was like, I don't know, maybe a 10 foot, 12 foot wall. Actually, I think it was maybe 20 foot wall. That's us in, I think that's us in ceramics class. Yeah, these are pottery wheels. That's us at a Korn concert. The morning after, he was sitting on my futon, thumbs up. Um, oh, that's my old apartment's staircase bedroom. Yeah, wow, that's nice. That's a nice little treasure trove of memories. This was my friend Thomas and him were trying to do the same thing, but they didn't nearly do as many memories as we did. But I feel like I should give that to them. I don't know if I necessarily deserve that for them. This is Gub. This is my partner's rendition of her mask. That's her little character. Her mask's name is Gub, so that's what this little creature is. He's like a little woodland dude. He's got like a leaf for clothing, I guess. This was a dream I had. It's my stepbrother at the time. He's not my stepbrother anymore because, parents got divorced, but that's really the only way that I can identify him. Because he's not a friend, but he's not my brother. He's my stepbrother, and like even legally, that's not the thing. But whatever, that's how I call him. His name was Kyle. Is Kyle, and I had a dream about him, where I walked into my bedroom, and he was laying in my bed, just relaxing, and it was really dim. The window was just kind of casting light, and and he looks at me, and I ask him, I was like, "Hey, what do you want to do today?" And he just looks at me straight faced, and he just says, "I'm doing it," as he's just laying in my bed. Yeah, it was wild. It was really weird, but funny now. Funny in reflection now. A list of some projects that I want to do. I did some. Yeah, that's an achievement. Poopy night. These are some sketches for I wanted to do this project for my friends, based, like, because we were really into Dark Souls and everything, so the Dark Souls lore and the bosses and stuff were really interesting to us. And I wanted to draw them and like our personas and their characters as Dark Souls bosses. And this is similar. This is kind of what I went with, just more large scale. I don't know if I have. I think I gave him the final image of that as a gift. That friend was Thomas. Those are some pottery ideas that I wanted to do. This is Kasam gave me the idea to make a reliquary, or not a reliquary, but like a sort of like a basin to hold liquid or something. And if I were to make it out of ceramic, how would it look? And this was like my idea, with like all of our faces inscribed on there, and sort of can't be put down unless it's in a stand. Yeah, I never really made that, but that was the initial idea. Maybe I will in the future sometime. I really wanted to do this tarot series. So I wrote down all the information about what tarot cards have and all the suits and stuff. I got lazy on the last two because I was just rewriting the same thing, but I wrote like the basic meanings of each card, and just to give myself more understanding and inspiration for what I would draw for each card. This was the Fool. This is the sketch that I sort of came up with. I know a lot of the representations have the Fool kind of like wandering off a cliff or whatever, but I think nowadays it's not so much the endangerment of your own safety being a fool. I think it's more of you doing something outside of what society deems is okay for you to be doing. So this guy is just on his own, at peace with what he has, which looks like little, and that's that's not really looked up to nowadays in the public sense. These are some sketches for the Fool on this side. Some different mask ideas and stuff. I really like this one, but it didn't feel appropriate for what I was doing. Oh, this is the Magician. So these are some preliminary ideas. I thought this one would be good for the Devil because it has these giant horns, but I haven't drawn the Devil yet, so I don't know what that'll look like. I really wanted them to be, just covered in candles and crystals and sigils tattooed on them. And yeah, like they're just deep in focus in what they do and what they I don't know, whatever rituals they get up to. The High Priestess. I didn't really connect so much with the High Priestess. I'm not really like a huge tarot person. I just like the idea of tarot, how it's like spiritual and sort of metaphysical, and like everyone has their own interpretation, and it's this physical deck of cards that sort of dictates this thing you can't really dictate with like other physical things, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting to me, so I wanted to see if I could make my own deck. And I've heard that that's sort of like the like meaning for tarot is like you're supposed to make your own deck, and then that's how you connect with it, and each person's deck, is for themselves and that kind of thing. The whole mainstream thing is like, I don't know if it's the antithesis of it, but it's just like commercialized, and I feel like it's more personal to draw your own, even if you're not super connected with all the big shot ideas for what it means. And I don't know, I don't think you need to know everything about tarot to fully enjoy tarot. These so I really eventually I'm gonna do this narrative piece. This is these are some ideas for the beginning of it, and then I started having this, there's that highway exit thing again. I started having these really awful moments when I first moved into the apartment I'm living in now, with some neighbors and some incidents, like a person trying to break into my apartment, which was great. Oh no, that's a different memory, but this is the guy. Yeah, he tried to break into my apartment. So that was fun. And then the neighbor who lived next door to me, who doesn't anymore, which was just a human piece of garbage. some ideas for if the sun, moon, and stars were like humanoid, I guess. Maybe they're a cult, sky cult. That was just kind of for fun. I didn't really have a deep meaning for that. Oh, there's this coffee shop, local coffee shop around me that's called Purgatory, and they've been super supportive of me and my partner selling pottery and art for years now. And this was a drawing that I made for them of all of their little mascots. They have skeleton mascots for each of their locations. They have 4 locations. And one was like their main one. And they opened up like a different one with like, he had more of like a surfer vibe. And then there was a mermaid one, and then there's a tiny little guy. Tiny skeleton. Yeah, I drew a finished inked version of that and gave it to them, and now they hung it up in their original store, which is really, really cool. This is just random snails that my partner and I drew. This is like tiny version of her and I. This was around the holiday times a few years ago, maybe last year. I really dig the Mary Lloyd, that's how you pronounce it, right? Figure. That's a really cool, like, ominous but beautiful character and metaphor for the holidays. My friends and I really wanted to do this short comic called Misfits, about us as robots, like robot personalities of us. Sort of just like what, I guess they're cyborgs. They're not full robots. They're cyborgs, and it's sort of like apocalyptic view on the world where humans are all gone. They're all just cyborgs or full robots, and kind of still doing human things because it's in our nature, but we can't really do it anymore. Like drink coffee. Coffee just goes in and fucks up our systems. But yeah, the original idea for my character, which is this big man, Brap, brutal rampaging assault prototype. Yeah. He sort of gets, I think it's on this page, he sort of gets mistaken for this like villain because he's so big and he looks menacing, and he comes across this dude with like a broken arm because he got fucked up from some thugs, and yeah, and then Brap shows up and scares him, and he thinks he's gonna die, but Brap helps him out because he's a good guy. This was some ideas for like possible villain of the story. A character who wanted to become anything but human, so he started modifying himself and becoming more monstrous and demon-like. Like this is like scale. None of this really came to fruition, but it's a really cool idea for maybe a future thing, possible. I don't know. Since I was on the tarot thing, I really thought about doing the Zodiacs too, but I wasn't really compelled by that either. I'm not super into all that. It's cool. Like I really enjoy the mythos and the ideologies and stuff, but I don't really personally do any of it or care deeply about it. Oh, this was, I really wanted to do an illustration on like a pottery slab so that I could hang it up, and I actually have the one I made. It's kind of like this one, but yeah, so it's like super glossy, but but it's like just this chunk of clay. And this is sort of my, to double down on my, ideas for those who suffer or are oppressed upon and have no means of fighting back. And it's just a normal thing in life. It's disgusting, but... this was a painting that my friends and I started. It was a big collab painting that we were gonna do together, and we started off sort of like my friend Kassam sort of started this like color sort of abstract just to get the canvas not white anymore, and we just stared at it for a long time, and I drew what I saw. It was all abstract. It was nothing really actually there visually, but that's kind of what I saw. Didn't really go with any of that. It sort of turned into like this tree forest into a city with like some large scale structures in the background, and it was really surreal and stuff, but we decided to not continue with it because we just took a really long break, and he wanted to use the canvas for something else, which I'm glad he did. So, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Oh, that's right. This was for my birthday. We went to New York on the Amtrak. This was us sitting, and I was just kind of drawing some. There was a gallery that was doing circular canvas show where you could just pay for the canvas and put anything up, but by the time I got there they didn't have any more of these round canvases, so I didn't get to partake. I probably would have done something like this, but oh, these were so this is more specific to the narrative project, which I'm calling Nowhere Now, but I don't really have much for it. These are just some ideas, and some like specific characters and stuff for what I thought would be in there. Just some landscape stuff. The main bulk of the project is that it's sort of like a it's sort of like a retelling of my own experiences and beliefs, I guess, or morals or whatever, or trials, tribulations, traumas, but told in like a surreal sort of detached way, and not like a literal sense of like, oh, my fucking, I don't know, not like a cut and stick, more like a through the lens of how I've interpreted it over the years and stuff like that. This is specifically about a friend who I don't have contact with anymore because of choices they made. Yeah, it's just like it was really hard at the time, because I just wanted to know, I wanted answers. I wanted to know why and what this was about, and they didn't want to talk, so our communication stopped. And I mean, now it's like I've accepted it, and they made their choices, and you gotta move on, right? These are some more ideas for like an apartment, sort of a hollow apartment. Those are some pottery. I made these. I tried to make these, but they didn't do so well. People really liked these, though. That was a lot of fun to make. Sculpted steins. These are some more memories and experiences for the narrative thing. This was more in line of my interpretation of the manager telling me to not wear my heart on my sleeve. This is how it felt with him just in a room, small dimly lit room, and me in the doorway as he's telling me this like horrible, insightful information that I just shouldn't be human. This would be like my meeting of Gub, or my partner, you know. Um, that's just some writing for what I thought would be the story, but it was all tentative. I don't think any of it is actually what it's going to be, but I thought writing it out would help, and I'm sure it did. It got some of the beginning ideas out that I don't like anymore, so that's nice. Just a nice conversation with this huge, huge monstrosity. I was I was sort of stuck on this like paneling idea, sort of like a comic graphic novel style thing. But I don't really have a lot of I don't have a lot of information or knowledge on that type of art making, so it's kind of hard for me to like imagine uh, the entire story like that, broken up into little tiny segments that sort of become a visual uh, cinematic for people who are looking at it. I'm thinking more along the lines now that I want to do just like large scale images and then maybe a little bit of writing. So like one image. I don't know yet. I don't know. Uh, this is like sort of like a empty gallery that just has like all of my in this in the narrative, not like a literal thing. Uh, there's a gallery or a huge museum with all of my past and future art in it, and then the character can go through and sort of meander through it. Um, this is a literal drawing of my partner and I selling some pottery and some art, and this is us eating some Jamaican patties on the river. That was nice. That was a nice memory. Uh, this you know the term when people say they're gutted. Uh, this was my literal mood one day because I felt so drained and empty. So here's me dying on the floor, gutted. Then here's me drinking a cup of coffee, just berating myself. Oh, I went to a show to sell some pottery and art, and there was my friends and I were talking about how whenever a musician asks for requests, it's always someone. There's like an in joke that someone always wants to listen to Freebird. I don't know where that came from, but my friends and I were just like, well, what if you just didn't respond to that guy, and everyone just fucking everyone wanted to hear Freebird, so they just got up and just beat the ever living shit out of the musician for it. And they're just screaming Freebird. Ugh, stupid but funny. This was sort of my mindset at the time was living in the apartment that I'm in now, but a year or two ago was really not great. It was just like a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress. Everyone around just seemed to be leering and wanting ill intentions and just trying everything in their power to make my and my partner's life miserable. And it was working. and we just felt like isolated, alone, but the center of attention, and it was hard. It was really hard. I'm glad we're sort of over that now. This is a this is a drawing that my partner made of us and our two cats. This was a commission drawing that I made for a guy named Jesse. Yeah, he was a cool dude. Interesting drawing. I don't usually draw like guns or guitars or anything, but that was fun. I used to play this game called Destiny 2 a lot. And I'm sort of divorced with it now just because it was so draining. You know, I don't know. The game and the community as a whole sort of became a job and really toxic, and it wasn't fun anymore. That's really the bottom line. It just wasn't fun anymore. And all my friends stopped playing, so I yeah, threw in the bucket. Threw in the towel, I mean. And there was some artwork for the like main villain of the story called the Witness, and he sort of had this giant stature, and I just kind of represented it in my own style because that's how it felt. Just felt like so overwhelming. Like this journey that I've been on through this game for 7 years or whatever just sort of came to a really abrupt and like annoying end. Like a really, yeah, I don't know, sort of bitter about it, but I did really like the ending with how they decided to I guess kill the Witness. So that was really cathartic. There was a lot of like nostalgic moments in there, and yeah, I needed that. I needed that for my closure, so that was nice. This is more ideas for my narrative thing with there's like a blood forest or like a swamp with like flesh trees, and this cult like lives inside one of the trees, and it gathers the blood by cutting the trees, and yeah, it's a whole thing. I don't know what they use the blood for, but I'm sure it's important. That's just like a drawing idea that I had for the 7 sins, for greed, and this was my friends and I wanted to see how many states in the US we knew by heart without looking it up. I knew 20. My friends and I have this this is Bane from Batman. My friends and I have this running joke that Bane, General Grievous, and Darth Vader from Star Wars are this trio that they're just like the villains with bad breathing, so they hang out together. Yeah, that's funny. Okay, so the other drawing was for greed, this one was for sloth. Sort of my idea for sloth is always like being stuck. Not so much like filth or laziness, but like just feeling utterly stuck and not being able to get out, or not choosing to get out, I guess. Pride would be this king, this devouring king who's always just, you know, I imagine he's the king of greed, and greed for me is a city, so he's on par with gluttony, I would suppose, with the never satiated vibes, you know. Random pain scribble. working on a comic. I wrote that because I think a friend of mine told me that uh, you gotta just say things and write things so that it sort of ingrains in your mind that you're taking accountability, that you're actually doing it. And so I was telling him about the narrative thing for so long that he's like, you just need to say it more and write it more so that like you actually believe yourself that you're doing it. So I did, even though it still hasn't happened yet. But this is more sketches for greed. I'm sorry, for pride. This was this was a piece that I drew when my horrible, abusive, toxic, awful piece of garbage neighbor got evicted. And these are all of his shitty, disgusting chairs that he left on the side of the road. So that was all that was left of him. And I stood out there with my morning coffee, and I just, just basked in him not being here anymore. So that was wonderful. That was a wonderful morning. This was a drawing for a friend of mine, Solus. Solus Sun. This is his character, like a Reaper, Scold Reaper. Yeah. And I did draw like a more finalized. This is another one. Kind of looks like shit because I drew something on the other side with a lot of ink, but it was just a sketch to get the idea out, so it doesn't matter too much. But you can still see what was going on there. But I finished that piece for him and I mailed it out to him, and yeah, he's a real one. He's awesome. Him and I went back and forth with some like ciphers, which was fun. I don't think I wrote any down in this. No, but he wrote a cipher to me, and then I wrote a cipher to him, so that was really cool. That was the first time I've done that. That was awesome. I used to work part-time at this food place, and my friend got me that job, and it was Father's Day when I had a shift and I was alone. And I sort of have this, like, I don't know, tumultuous feeling about fathers since I didn't grow up with one, and my stepfather was a piece of shit. And so I had this, like, I don't know, I always get this melancholic or angry feeling, but this day, Father's Day, when I was working there, I was drawing this in my sketchbook because it was really slow, nobody was there. And I just thought about all of the people in my life who were father figures and not necessarily fathers by relation, who lifted me up and like made me who I am today. And that's what this is about. This was my uncle who passed. This was one of my best friend's father, who is basically my my father because I've known him since I was like in third grade. And this was my uncle's partner, who was always there for me as well. And yeah, so they really lifted me up, even though I didn't see it at the time, and now I can reflect on it and really appreciate them for what they've done for me. I think this was more, I was trying to plan out like all the pages of this narrative thing, but as soon as I got to here, I was like, this doesn't, I don't know, it didn't feel right, so I kind of stopped. It was too overwhelming looking at all the blank pages. It just kind of has to happen naturally, I guess. I'm not really good at full plan like that. These are some ideas for what would happen in there too, in the narrative. Things I would come across. Why is this here? Why am I doing this? Why am I going that way? Why anything? Another Solus sketch with his little apple buddy. Oh, here, okay, so this is an idea that I really do like, actually, about my Nowhere project. The main character, I guess, that you would follow sort of unearths themselves from a grave, just like a hole in the ground, and then they kind of reflect on where they came from, and then they go about the whole journey of what the story of nowhere would be. So I like that as the beginning. Not sure what this is, but I really like. I think there's an artist that I keep seeing on Instagram. I forget their name. But they draw a lot of moon and sun faced masked characters, and I think I was inspired by that, and I drew this like moon cult. Oh, this was my friend Kassam and Thomas. They were roommates at one point, and they went on a trip, and I stayed at their apartment, or I stayed at their home to watch the cat and kind of house sit for them, and I dropped them off at the airport at 3:43. Ooh, and I just sort of watched them walk away into this unknown building, um, with their luggage, and it felt really dramatic, even though they were just going on a trip and they were coming back in a couple, like maybe a week, I think. Um, but it just felt, I don't know. I really reflected on that feeling of them leaving, walking away, and then me being alone in the dark, in the cold, and then going back to their home and it being empty and quiet, and yeah, yeah, I don't know. That stuck with me. I was really like, I felt lonely. I felt sad, but I was also happy that they were, going on a trip and enjoying their time and stuff. But this was a drawing that I drew there in their apartment while I was cat sitting and house sitting. I felt tethered to it, but I appreciated it and I wanted to be there genuinely. But I just felt tethered and alone. It was a mixed bag of emotions. This was for an artist did a draw this in your own style. I think Davy Jonesy's on Instagram, I believe. And I like this. I don't know why I didn't go through with this. Maybe I just didn't feel like putting in the effort with such a big drawing. Yeah, this is the one that I did. I did just a little version of it. Um, yeah, Davy Jonesy's. That was a really cool piece. This was the beginning of a commission I got uh, for this novel, and this character design was really cool. More drawings for that. They had like an elongated face snout, I guess. So I was trying to figure out what that would look like. They didn't tell me it necessarily had a skull for a face, but that's kind of my motif. Either masks or skulls. So I did do one like flesh covered just to see what that would look like, and I didn't want to draw that, but they didn't like it either. They liked this. They preferred the skull, so I was really happy about that. I really like how this one came out. Just that like sort of somber, reluctant pose, sort of like they're more afraid of you than you are of it. So I like that a lot. This was just me trying to figure out like all the details together, but not the finished piece. This one's more, I guess, ominous, more like horror coded, but they wanted more musculature, not so thin and frail. So this wasn't the final one either. Oh, okay. So the last drawing in here is my all my friends, all my friends. I think I drew this while I was on the phone doing some like I don't even know, just on the phone for a long time. And this is my partner. That's me. This is Thomas, and that's Kassam. It's our family. Yeah, I like that little drawing. It's cool. It means a lot. All right, well that's about it. So thanks for watching if you did, and hopefully I make another one soon. Thank you for all the comments too in my last video. Holy shit, that was really heartwarming. I didn't expect hardly anybody to watch my first video, so it having quite a substantial amount of views and a lot of comments was just really heartwarming. Really felt genuine. A lot of real people genuinely took time in their day to not only listen to me ramble about my own personal shit and my art, but they took their time to. You took your time to. It's weird to talk to you directly like that. That's I'm not used to that. But yeah, thank you just for taking the time and taking the energy, and it was nice to read every comment and comment back. So yeah, thank you for everything.